I used to force myself to finish every book because I don't know why I felt like it was a failure of some sort. Where it was like, okay, if I don't finish this, then that means I didn't complete a task. But honestly, my mindset on it has changed a lot. Now I'm just like, life's too short to read bad books. If you've ever felt guilty for DNF in a book, this video is definitely for you. So in this video, I'm going to talk about the 5 books that I DNF'd this year. And some of them may be a bit controversial. Others may be, some other people may feel the same way that I felt. So let's get into it. So the first book that I DNF'd was 7 Days in June by Tia Williams. And everywhere I turned, this book was being hyped. And don't get me wrong, I think the writing was really good. I really enjoyed the writing. However, like the writing style. However, the story was just too much for me. And I think that has a lot to do with the time in which I may have read the book. So I am a mood reader. So I may just not have been in the mood for that particular type of book. And I picked it up because there was so much hype around it, rather than just reading what it was that I was in the mood for. But then I tried to pick it up another time. And I guess my mood just hadn't changed. So I just was like, forget it. It went from a soft DNF to an absolute hardcore DNF. I will try to read other books by this author in the future. But as it stands right now, 7 Days in June just didn't hit for me. Now, the second book that I DNF'd was by J.L. Seegers. I had never read anything by this author, so I wanted to try this author. And what was the name of that book? The Illusion of Power. So I think I may have spoken about this in another sit-down video. It just was too spicy for me. And I'm okay with spice normally. However, I don't think I expected it to be that spicy. However, I do know I didn't read like her previous works, which is like Restore Me and stuff like that. And I heard those are really spicy too, but I don't think I realized to what degree. And I also had never read anything that was like a reverse harem. So essentially it was a woman, but like with two love interests. And I didn't even get to the point where they became her love interests. I was just at the point without spoiling it, where the love interests were, their character and character development wasn't what I expected. Let's just say it that way. So I just DNF'd it, and I even took off the sequel to that off my TBR. I was like, I don't even want to read anything going forward. But once again, the writing style wasn't bad. It was just the story. The story just didn't do it for me. So I DNF'd that book. I didn't even bother to try to finish it, or even, as of right now, I haven't even picked up another book by that author. The third book that I DNF'd was definitely going to be very controversial. Was a soft DNF, because I may go back to it fairly soon, but it was The Housemaid by Freida McFadden. I tried to listen to it on audio. I tried to read it with on my Kindle. I just, for some reason, just could not get into it. And I've heard this book is so good. Like, people love it. And it's also has become a movie that actually came out, what's today? Yeah, it came out like 2 days ago. And I was actually supposed to go and see it with my book club girlies, and we haven't gone yet. And I'm contemplating on just going to see the movie and not even bothering reading the book. However, as I said just a minute ago, I may try to pick it back up before we go to see the movie. That doesn't give me much time, because I don't know how long this movie is going to be in theaters. The longest it'll probably be in theaters is probably like a month or two. But I don't know. I've read 3 other books by Freida McFadden, and they were all novellas. So they were really quick reads. Some of them didn't even have I don't know, for me, it just felt like, really? That's it? And I feel like because the housemates kind of start slow, I didn't even want to wait for it to start to pick up and then me feel like, really? That's it? Because that was my experience with with the other ones. But who knows? You never know. Right now it's a soft DNF, but I did DNF nonetheless. So the fourth book that I DNF'd was The Neighbor Favor by Christina Forrest. And I know most of these authors have been black authors, but it has nothing to do with the fact that they're black authors. I just primarily read black authors. However, that doesn't mean that I don't like these authors' writing. So let me make that very clear. It's just sometimes the story or my mood doesn't go hand in hand. And then I'm just like, I don't want to read this book. And I'm fairly new at DNFing books in the first place. Anyhow, I DNF'd The Neighbor Favor, and it was because of how slow it started. It started with a bunch of emails back and forth between the male main character and the female main character. And honestly, I just couldn't really get into it. I just couldn't really get into it. However, it is a soft DNF. I do have it on my try again later list. So I may try it again later because I do have the 2 other books in the series. I know that they're interconnected standalone, so if I wanted, I could just read the second and third book without reading The Neighbor Favor, but I do like to read books in order. That's just a me thing. So I will try that again, but as it stands right now, that was just a book I couldn't really get into, but once again, it wasn't the writing, it might have just been the time. And the 5th and final book that I DNF'd this year, which was obviously a soft DNF because I am currently reading it right now, was Harlem Rhapsody. Harlem Rhapsody, which is a historical fiction, starts so slow, but the story is so good. And I like anything where I can learn about things like the Harlem Renaissance and anything of Black historical fiction. But at first I was like, I can't read this. It's starting so slow. So right now what I am doing, I'm currently reading it. I'm trying it again. And I'm about 65-70% of the way through it. I've been tandem reading it. So I'm reading it on my Kindle as well as listening to it on audio. And sometimes I do that at the same time, and sometimes I may do them interchangeably. And it has actually opened up and brightened the experience for me. So this is me saying that sometimes it may be a DNF for now, but maybe you should try that book again later, because Harlem Rhapsody is definitely going down for this year as probably one of my top 10 books. I can't say top 5, but I'll say top 10 books of the year. So yeah, those are the 5 books that I DNF'd or soft DNF'd this year. Share in the comment section what you may have soft DNF'd or DNF'd this year, or if you have difficulty DNFing at all. And thanks for hanging out with me, friend. Thanks for listening to me rant and chat about my books per usual. And if this is your vibe, subscribe and join the tribe. I'll see you in the next one. Later.